Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I was trying to find, I believe it's Joetta Dozier.
That's me.
Is that you, Joetta?
That's me.
Hey,
Yes,
Joetta.
it is.
Let me give you my card.
Okay.
I'm with Evergreen Memorial Park
Okay.
in Sumter, where your father's buried.
Yes.
And the reason I came by is I'm supposed to bring some paperwork by to you.
Okay.
Okay, may I come in?
Come in.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come in, have a seat.
Okay. Thank you so much. How y'all been? This must be the famous Reggie.
Yes, it is. How you doing?
Reggie, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure what it is. We're bringing a couple of 3 gifts out to your family. One is the paperwork of all the records that was on your father in file. Okay.
Okay.
We want to make sure that's correct. And then we have another book to give you. It's called Emergency Record Book. Tells you what to do in case of an emergency. But I want to go back and ask you, tell me how things went at the funeral for your father.
Everything was good.
Was it good?
Everything was good, yes.
No complaints, everything sounding good.
Please, everything was good.
Well, good. Now, did you grow up here in this area?
Yes.
Right? Sumter's been your home? How about you, Reggie?
No, grew up in California.
You were California. I'll bet you came here in the military.
Yes.
You did? Okay. Once you get here, these Sumter girls won't let you go.
I tell you, boy.
Right. So your family is from this area, and is most of your family back in California?
Yeah, most of them.
Are they? Okay. All right. But you're not going to go back there.
No.
Been here too long.
Well, can I ask you a question? How in the world did y'all meet each other?
Well, I was at the NCO club one night, and she walked in, and I told my buddy, I said, "Man, I like what I see." Yeah.
You fell in love at first sight,
I
didn't you?
fell in love at first sight.
Now, how were you thinking about him? Do you think he was the one for you?
I love the way he was. I was like, oh, that was a short man trying to talk to me.
Yeah. You knew he was after you, didn't you? Yeah.
His charm was on point.
He did. He did good, right? Well, I'm glad y'all made it. Well, I always like to find out how people met each other, and of course, you've got children.
No, I don't. He does.
You have children, but your previous marriage. Okay, all right. They didn't come with you.
No, they didn't come.
They stayed out there. Okay. Well, y'all have a beautiful home here. You've got a nice family. I hope. I always like to find out how people fell in love and got together. It's wonderful. Now, going back to your daddy, you were growing up here as a little girl. Do you remember how your father came to get cemetery property with us?
I don't really quite remember.
Yeah, but he bought way back
when I was a little girl.
You was a little girl?
Yes.
Okay. Well, most times
Everything.
people, they come out and they visit with most people in the home because that's the way it's generally done,
I can remember a little girl, a man coming by talking to him about it, but as far as everything else.
Is that right? Well, what I want to do is to give you actually the paperwork so that you can keep this to be sure if any questions ever come up that you'll have it, because we're getting ready to digitize and put all of our records on computer, and we want to make sure that we do this correctly. I appreciate if we could go from the living room in here to the table, and I'll present these gifts to you. Okay. The first gift I want to give you, of course, is the paperwork, and this will be important. I keep saying for you to keep. This shows everything that your father owned, and actually shows you the history of all the paperwork that is in his file. Okay. Everything he purchased, his burial papers, and all that's together in the certificate of his ownership, so nobody can ever come back and question that, okay? Okay, so that's the first thing I want to give you. And then the second thing I like to give you, and this is for your family in honor of your father, okay? It's what we call a family planning guide, okay? Now, the family planning guide is an emergency record book telling you what to do and how to do everything in case of an emergency. Folks, what I can do for you is I can go through this book, but I can't fill it out, okay? So the first page I would like to read to you, though. I think it's pretty important. And your father sure spared you a lot of trouble having all that done, didn't he?
Oh, yes.
Let me read this to you. It says, we've seen countless people suffer tremendous confusion when there is a death in the family, where from loss and sleep they are forced to make numerous decisions which have cost thousands of dollars more than necessary. To make matters even more confusing, many people do not have wills, often do not apply for government benefits, cash benefits, and do not make known to their loved ones the location of insurance policies, bank books, and other vital documents requested by law. And many people neglect to make funeral and cemetery arrangements. A death in the family is extremely difficult without placing the added burden of a funeral and cemetery arrangements on the shoulders of the loved one we love. There's a way to avoid these problems. After years of assisting people in planning final arrangements, our company has created this valuable family planning guide prepared with the assistance of attorneys, accountants, bankers, clergy, and estate planning experts. This kit will make it easier for you to share your feelings and preferences with your loved ones. Okay? Now, the first page talks about the 67 things. Now, when your father passed, I know you had to make the arrangements. Wasn't it overwhelming, the number of decisions you had to face?
Yes.
And they didn't stop at the time of death. You were continued for months and months afterwards. But this is a helpful checklist to guide you of all those decisions you have to make so that when something happens to you or Reggie, your family will be prepared for it, okay? The next page talks about personal documents. Now, who keeps the personal documents in your home?
She does.
She does? Okay. Now, let's suppose tomorrow you lost her, Reggie, unexpectedly. Could you find the bank books, checkbooks, deeds to real estate, stocks and bonds, income tax returns, military discharge, wills, legal proof of age, birth certificate, social security card, marriage license, citizenship papers, insurance policies, auto title, key to safe deposit, deed to burial?
No.
It's overwhelming. Okay. Now, let me give you some advice. What I recommend that's very important that you do is I would take those original documents and I would make a copy of them. I'd put them in a fireproof box, or you can actually put them into a freezer bag and put them in the freezer, because that's one place that doesn't burn.
Wow.
In case of a fire is in your freezer. That's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Wow.
Never thought of it.
And let me tell you why you want to either have the fireproof box or the freezer, because you want to take the originals and put it into a safety deposit box.
Okay.
But at the time of death, you can't get that open.
Right.
And you need those documents sometimes. And I remember my brother and I went through that. We couldn't get our mother's box open until we went to probate court. So be sure you have those documents in just one place for families to find. Now, this page here talks about your will forms. You know, wills are important, but a lot of people say, well, I'm young, I don't have a lot of money. But you know, one of the most important reasons to have a will is because your children become wards of the state. You may have thought, well, I want my sister or brother to have that child. But if you don't put it in your will stating who the guardian is, that's what happens. So don't think a will's just about money. It's about our most precious assets, our children, okay? Now, we have will forms. If you'll ask us before we leave, we'll send you a copy of the ones that simple wills that we use that address the who gets what, but we can't practice law. You have to fill these out on your own and get a notary to sign them, because it will take care of something that people easily put off. Medical history. This is important. Say, like when Reggie gets sick, if you don't know the background of his medical history to share with the doctor, those records may not be available at the time something happens, okay? Bank accounts and investments. And I also put this along with insurance policies. Did you know billions of dollars in bank accounts go lost each year because when you pass away, the insurance company's not going to come knock on the door and say, don't we owe you some money? It doesn't work that way, does it? You have to file for the documents to get your insurance, as well as you have to file documents to get those bank accounts, okay? So be sure that you have a record of this, okay? These two pages talks about veterans benefits. Are you a veteran, Reggie? No, okay.
Yes, I was.
You was a veteran. Okay, there's certain veterans benefits that you're entitled to at that time, and this will tell you how to get those benefits. Over here, Social Security benefits. Now, a lot of people say, gosh, may not be any Social Security by the time I get there, but did you know the most valuable insurance policy you'll ever have, and you need to tell your children for your grandchildren, is that Social Security has survivor's benefits, and that's the way families a lot of times make it to raise their children, because the government will pay that person those benefits to keep their children alive. Okay? All right. This next page talks about the historical data for husband and wife. Okay, why is that important? You ever seen these real short obituaries? People could not answer their questions about your history if you don't answer it for them now. Okay? So that's why it's very important that you fill this out. Once you're gone, that data's gone. Okay? This talks about the death certificate. A lot of times people have trouble completing the death certificate, and you can't get insurance benefits, Social Security, any bank accounts, nothing without that death certificate.
Okay.
So be sure that you got the critical questions and information correct, so that you can get your benefits you're entitled to. Okay. This talks about funeral preferences, and this other page here talks about memorial instructions. Do you know, we have a lot of questions that seem silly, like did Dad want an open casket? Did he want a military funeral? Did he want his boots on if he liked to ride a motorcycle? Those seem silly right now. But you know what widows and children say? They'd give anything to have their husband back for just 5 minutes to say, are we doing the right thing?
Right.
But it's too late then. This is why it's so important to answer these questions now, okay? Do y'all have any kind of funeral or maybe cemetery preferences that you have in mind?
Well, I might like to have my motorcycle boots on.
You would? Okay. But you're traditionalist like your father was, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, if you'll fill this booklet out correctly, let me read to you what your children will read someday. It says, with deep love for you, we have completed the family planning guide. Our sincerest desire is to relieve you of anxiety, expense, and inconvenience at the time of our death. We have made our burial arrangements in advance, so you will not be forced to make sudden and costly decisions on a day already filled with sorrow. It is especially important that we let you know how gratified we feel that we have made the decisions. We know you now are protected against loss of insurance, government benefits, and personal possessions that you want to have. And having our state in order gives you the peace of mind. We trust these arrangements are satisfactory and will help you keep alive the warm and tender memories of the times we have spent together. Love, Mom and Dad. Isn't that nice?
It is.
Folks, this is a gift that we give you in honor of your father,
Okay.
and we hope you appreciate that. But you do have to take the time to fill it out, okay? Now, we actually have another gift we'd like to give you, and this one will surprise you. In honor of your father, we're actually giving all the family members and friends that supported him at that time a free space in our cemetery.
How about that?
Now,
Oh, wow.
I know that's a surprise, okay? But let me tell you why we do it. We know that we don't advertise in the radio, television, or newspaper. The best advertisement is what we put into this, okay?
Okay.
Because let's suppose that we give this to someone you refer us to, and they don't purchase anything. Most of the families want to buy another one to go with it,
Right.
but let's suppose they don't. It's okay, because we know when this is used, 10 more families will come to our cemetery because of the service they see us present.
It's true.
And most families will buy more spaces to go with it at that time. Okay? Now, what I want to do is to pose a question to you. You see why we do a family service follow-up, to make sure that your family lets us know how the service went, how that was done. In some cases, we bring these records to families that are both still living, and
Right.
there's not been a death, or maybe there's been one death. But irregardless, it's important for every family to have these records, so they know at that time, if one person is still living, they have these records, okay? But let me pose a question to you. After what you experienced losing your father, and I know that was hard emotionally, let's suppose tomorrow that you have a friend at church or one of your relatives calls on you and says, Joetta, I lost my husband last night to a heart attack and I don't know what to do. Would you help her?
I would.
You try to walk with her and her kids to the funeral home, to the cemetery. That would be a hard walk, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't want to, but I would.
Yeah, it's very grievous to actually be in the middle of that, and you don't really know what to say sometimes, but you do your best, right?
Oh, most definitely.
So with that said, tell me which would be easier. Would it be easier for you to walk with that friend to the funeral home, or to send me over there and bring these gifts to them while they're still both together?
I think it'd be better for you to go.
So you'd actually be doing them a favor, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
So what I'd like to do, I'd like to start with first your relatives, okay? Now, what would be the first person in your family? Do you have brothers, sisters?
Yeah, Loretta.
Okay.
Loretta Johnson.
Loretta, okay. Johnson, okay. And she is your
Sister.
Okay. And do you know her street address?
637 Mathis Street.
637 Mathis, okay. And that's Sumter.
Correct.
Do you happen to know her phone number?
803
803
968
968
4624.
4624, okay. And what will be the next relative in your family?
Joyce Davis.
Joyce?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is Loretta married?
She is.
What's her husband's name?
Johnny.
Johnny, Johnnny, okay. And you say Joyce is your
Sister,
okay. All right. And her last name is?
Davis.
Davis, okay. And her husband's name?
He's deceased.
His husband deceased, okay. All right. And what street does she live on?
Amberwood.
Amberwood?
1810 Amberwood.
1810 Amberwood, okay. And that's Sumter?
Correct.
Okay. And her phone number?
803 565 2954.
2954. Okay. What'll be the next person? How about your mother? Is she still living?
Mother's deceased as
She's
well.
passed, okay.
My sister Cynthia.
Sister Cynthia, okay. Maples. And her husband?
Fabian.
Fabian.
AN.
Fabian, okay. And that's your sister, okay. All right. And her street?
Burning Tree. 10 Burning Tree.
Burning Tree. And do you have the number on that?
10.
10 Burning Tree. That's Sumter. Okay.
Yes.
And her phone number?
803
803
847
847
9803.
9803. And the next name?
Probably your mom.
Your mom came and followed you out here from California, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's her name?
Janie.
Janie?
Mm-hmm.
And her last name?
Dozier.
Is she married?
Yeah, my father deceased.
Oh, your father's deceased, okay. Deceased, okay. And that's
1128.
mother to Reggie, okay. Reggie. And
That's 1128
1128
Yellow Bank Lane.
Yellow Bank Lane, okay.
That's something.
Okay, Sumter. And the Sumter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have their phone number?
803
803
565
565
8716.
8716, okay. And
I have some brothers.
you have some brothers now. Do you have any other family?
No.
Okay, that's the only family you got. Your mama's come here, okay. Everybody else still in California.
Right.
Okay.
And
We couldn't take those gifts out there, but if they decide to move here,
Right.
let us know and we'll give these gifts to them in honor of her father. Okay.
Terry.
Terry is your brother.
Ford.
Ford.
Fullard. Fullard.
Okay. Fullard. Okay. And his wife's name?
Wanda.
Wanda. W-A.
NDA.
Wanda. And that's your brother. Okay. And they live on what street?
1055 Spalding.
55 Spalding. S-P-A.
ULDING.
G. Okay. And Sumter. You have the phone number?
803 773
773
4567.
4567. 567. Have more brothers? Okay.
William Fullard.
William Fullard. Okay. And his wife's name?
Antoinette.
Okay. And how do you spell it? A-N-T-I-O-N-E-T-T-E.
Antionette.
Okay. And that's your brother. And street number?
1025
1025.
Pinewood Road.
Pinewood. Okay.
And that's Sumter.
And that's Sumter. Okay.
Correct.
Sumter. Okay. And phone number?
803
803
847
847
4063.
4063. Okay. And what would be another
Some more.
brother?
I got James Fullard.
James. Okay. James Fullard. And his wife's name?
Schifferlin.
How you spell that?
Schifferlynn.
Well, that's a pretty name.
Thank you.
And that's your brother. Okay. And his street is
1010
1010
Wedgeville Lane.
Wedgefield. Okay. It's out there in that nice area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's Sumter.
Wedgeville.
Oh, it's actually Wedgefield, isn't it? Yeah, Wedgefield. Yeah. And his phone number?
803
803
236
236
6110.
6110. Okay. Another brother?
Got some nieces.
Okay. Now, are they over 21 and married?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, give me the names of the ones that are.
Jolicia Dow.
Jolicia. Jole.
JOLESHCIA.
SCIA. CIA. And that address is, her last name is
Dow.
G.
DOW.
D-O-W. And her husband's name?
Adrian.
Adrian. Okay. Okay, that's a niece. Okay, and that's, you know her street address?
4202
4202
Peach Orchard Road.
Peach Orchard. Okay.
And that's in Dazzle.
Dazelle. Okay. Dazelle. And phone number?
803
803
983
983
9901.
9901. Okay. And the name of the next relative?
Stephanie Johnson.
Stephanie Johnson. Okay. And her relationship is?
Niece.
Niece, okay. And her husband's name?
Joseph.
And Joseph. And you know her street number?
She lives on 1020
1020
St. Paul Church Road.
St. Paul Church Road.
And that's still in Sumter.
Okay. Sumter, okay. And, you know the phone?
803
803
565
565
9494.
9494. And the next relative you'd like to?
Kimberly Bradley.
Kimberly. Bradley. And her husband's name?
Andre.
Andre. A-N-D-R-E-A.
Yeah. Just E, not the E.
Just Andre. Okay. I'm sorry. And relationship, is that
Niece.
your niece? Okay. Okay. And her address is?
102
102
McLaurin.
McLaurin.
And that's Wedgeville as well.
Wedgefield. Okay. And you know her phone?
803
03
847
847
9803.
9803. Okay. And
Yolanda Farmer.
Yolanda. She a niece?
Niece, yes.
Okay. Yolanda Farm.
And her husband is Quincy.
Quincy. Okay. And do you know her street?
1234 Nazarene Church Road.
Nazarene.
And that's Sumter as well.
Church Road. Okay. Sumter. You happen to know her phone number?
803
03
464
464
6603.
6603. Okay. And the next one?
Dejon Johnson.
Dejon. That's your
Nephew.
Nephew. Okay. Nephew. John Johnson. Okay. And his wife?
Not married.
Not married, single. Okay. All right. And that's, do you know his address?
637
637
Mathis Street.
Mathis. Okay. Street. Okay.
In
And
Sumter.
Sumter. Phone
803
803
565
565.
2510.
Looks like we're running out of people who are married, right? Okay. Now let me ask you this. You can look back and probably you know this, but were there friends of your father, that friends of your family, that were very helpful at that time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Those people are real supportive. Let's get their names if we can remember them. Okay.
This is Maggie Jones.
Maggie Jones. And her husband.
He's deceased.
He's deceased. Okay. And do you know her address?
I don't. She lives in Charleston, but she's going to be buried here in Sumter as well.
Oh, she is? Okay. She's in Charleston. Okay, Charleston. And do you know her phone number?
843
843
712
712
1718.
1718. Okay. And you don't know the address, okay?
No,
but I can give her a call because she wants to be buried back here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue asking this family for as many names as they can give me. Just like we've done a family service call, this call to a property owner that's deceased is going to generate a lot of names too. More if there's been a death, but even if there's not been a death, okay? Or let's suppose both the couple is still living, then it's going to generate a lot of names too. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the paperwork with you, but let's suppose I'm with a family that owns everything, and it's a couple. What I'm going to do is go through and look at their records and make sure, because sometimes we spot where they thought they had something, they really don't, okay? And we're just going to assume for a minute that I'm with a couple that has lost her, you've lost your husband, okay? And I'm talking to you. And I go through here and I discover that, well, it doesn't appear that you folks bought a vault. Is that correct, or did you buy that at the funeral home?
We did that at the funeral home.
Okay.
At the funeral home.
Okay, so you don't have your vault, am I right? Okay. and also you don't have your marker, or did you get a double marker when your husband passed for the $2,000? So you got the space beside him, but you don't have both of them. Okay, all right. Now, okay. Let me show you something that's important for you to know. Now, understand, I want to repeat about all the names that you've given me here today. I'm going to be courteous, and I'm going to call on these families, and we're going to give this book. Now, we know sometimes they may already have had their arrangements made someplace else. We don't know. But once we find that out, of course, they're not going to take the free space, and we're happy to do that, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, anyway, know that we will do this and be as courteous to your family and friends
Thank you.
as we've been with you today, okay? All right. Now, what I want to show you, since I've discovered that here in the file, we really thought when we made the file up that you folks had everything, okay? But I think what was overlooked there is we assumed that, when you had the vault at the funeral home, that yours was done too, but you haven't made your funeral arrangements, right? Okay. And also, you don't have your marker, okay? So let me show you how we want to deal with that. I know, based on what you went through, you want to be sure you did it. Now, I was looking in your file there, and did you know what you all paid for spaces? I showed that you got 2 spaces for $990 back in the 80s, or that was $450 each. Do you know what those same spaces sell for now in our cemetery? $26.95 each.
Each?
Times two would have been $53.90 would be what it costs today to come out and purchase that. Is that amazing? Now, who was the smart one that made that decision? Was it you or your deceased husband that decided to go ahead and get them at a good price like this?
We kind of did it together.
You did it? Isn't that amazing, the difference in price, what's happened? So luckily for you, because you did this is something you don't have to worry about, okay? Now the next thing, the burial vault, we did get a good one from him from the funeral home. However, to give you an example, back then, probably just in as a comparison, you could have bought a vault for $495 with us, okay? All right? But today, that same vault will cost you as high as $29.95. In other words, you've got all kinds of vaults. You've got concrete, steel reinforced concrete, copper, bronze. The most expensive, they can run from $3,000 all the way up to $9,000. And did you know these are required by law because the state won't let us provide perpetual care to your cemetery property unless we have a vault that's put in place.
Okay.
So right now, you could easily come in our office and purchase a vault for $29.95, but because you're an in-home purchaser today, we can take care of that for you for $26.95.
$26.95.
$26.95. So that would be your in-home price if I take care of it for you now. Now, the next thing is the marker. You know how important that's been to you over the years.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely don't want your children having to come back and find that you didn't take care of that. So to make sure that's done, back then, I think that marker would have been $6.95. Okay? But today, that marker will sell for $29.95. And what is it we do in the home? 26
$26.95.
26 or 25?
$26.95.
26. But in your home, we can take care of that for you for $26.95. Okay? Now, there's one other thing that hasn't been taken care of. Do you remember you paid to have the grave dug, opening and closing back
Exactly.
that time? In the records here, I showed that you only paid $4.95 for that back in the 80s, okay? Today, this can run anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, depending on when the grave is dug. You see, what happens
Just
is...
dig it and cover it up. Wow.
It's more than that, though, because at that time, what happens is we have to have a person with a liability policy of at least $1 million because they don't tear up the other graves around it. They've got to be real professional. We don't allow just anybody to dig in the cemetery. So the grave is expensive to dig because it's not just the digging of the grave, but once we have the chairs and the tent and everything set up, well, the real cost comes over the next 90 days trying to get that grave back to its normal position, okay? Now, right now, in the home, we can take care of that for you for $18.95, okay? All right, so if we add this up, you still have the vault and the marker. I'll add this up so we give you the total equals $72.85. And this way your children don't have to go back and do it. Just like I know you folks planned ahead, you don't want to see the prices change again in the future like they have now. Okay.
You're right.
Now, based on this, what would be the best way for you to pay for that? Are you a cash buyer?
Ooh. I don't think so, no.
Well, tell me how much of this that you can pay, and I'll show you a payment plan so that you can pay the balance of it. What would be a comfortable amount that you could take out of savings to go ahead and take care of a big part of it?
Maybe we can do $2,500.
$2,500, okay. Well, let me show you what I can do. We can take the balance of $72.85, and if you pay $2,500 down, that would leave $47.85. I I can finance it with no interest for 24 months.
Oh, really? Okay.
I sure can. Let me show you what that would amount to. Okay, 4785 divide by 24. Yeah, so your payments would be $199 per month.
Okay, under $200. Okay.
You can handle that okay? Okay, all right, I'll do that. Let me go ahead and get the paperwork out. And here's what I want you to do. While I'm finishing this, I'd like for you, if you would, please, I know there's some, there's probably remember the funeral register that people signed at the time of your father's death? If you go to the back room and get that, it will trigger your memory to list some more names on here of people that were supportive to you at that time. Now, there's a lot of people came to the service, but we don't know that a lot of them were that close. You'd know, though.
Exactly.
So if you'd pick some of those out, and would you finish filling that out for me? And I'll go ahead and do the paperwork on this to finish your burial estate, okay? All right. Now, basically I'm going to fill out the paperwork because there's missing items. Let's suppose there's no missing items. Let's suppose they own everything. Well, guess what? Now I'm getting ready to offer the free space to them and start my presentation to give them their free space. They're first on the list, okay? Now, you guys have already got that presentation, all right? So what we're going to do is they're going to be the first referral. We had this happen the other night. We went to a lady's home, and I thought she owned everything, okay? But she didn't, okay? And she was missing the opening and closing. So the opening and closing, Corey was with me, and we got done. We went in the living room to see one of the children that was staying with the mother, and we sold her. Now, the only problem was we couldn't get money because her job just started and she was unstable, but we worked it out so that we will come back in 30 days and take care of add a vault to that free space so we can try to get that space close to her daddy, okay? All right.